First thing first, how do you make it till this point a, a beautiful roadmap that I can understand from?
Joined in engineering college as assistant professor. So I have this
Okay.
college background, teaching background, as you mentioned in my intro. And those days, the .NET is announced, if you guys remember, in the year of 2002. Those days, the Naukri was famous more than LinkedIn. I kept in the Naukri that, I teach .NET to the final year students. And then I got a call from TCS. Hey, would you like to train our TCS new hires?
As a whole. So from SD to someone at a high impact role, that is learning architect role, what would you say? Is a teaching background very necessary, or what would be a simplest roadmap if someone wants to join?
But the skill required to sustain in this particular domain is not just tech. So
You teach generative AI, right, and GitHub Copilot. So what do you think? Like, what skill has Copilot made completely obsolete, and what new skill is non-negotiable for developers today?
definitely there are two parts in your question. When it comes to review of the output, systems thinking, and mindset.
Now, beyond basic coding, how important is safe deployment practices for in a freshest resume today, and where should they focus more, or where should they focus their learning? Hi everyone. Today we have a special guest with us, and he is Srinivas from Hyderabad, and he will help us understand about his journey. In this episode, we'll be learning from Srinivas. His role, he's actually working as a learning architect in the Microsoft, and he comes from a teaching background actually. And what is going to be future? Will it completely replace the formal tradition kind of classroom learning? Everything we'll get to understand. And beyond the basic coding, how important is safe development practices for a fresher's resume today. So everything about this role will be completely guided by Srinivas, and if a master's degree is necessary to be in this role, and what has fundamentally shifted in the industry. Everything from right from the start to the end, we'll be trying to understand a roadmap completely from Srinivas. Um, Over to you, Srinivas, and a very hearty welcome to you in this episode.
Thank you. Thank you, Joy, for having me in this podcast. And hello, everyone. This is myself, Srinivas, and you got a beautiful intro about me, and you're going to see what we're going to speak for the next couple of minutes. Thank you. I think we'll get into the
Yes,
discussion.
Srinivas. I just wanted to understand from the very start. First thing first, how do you make it till this point a, a beautiful roadmap that I can understand from you?
Yeah, if you ask me with the road, first I'll briefly tell you like how I landed here.
Sure.
When I completed my graduation in the year of 2004, I joined in engineering college as assistant professor. So I have this
Okay.
college background, teaching background, as you mentioned in my intro. And those days, the .NET is announced, if you guys remember, in the year of 2002. Then I've learned .NET myself and started teaching engineering students as part of their final year project. And those days, the Naukri was famous more than LinkedIn. I kept in the Naukri that, I teach .NET to the final year students. And then I
Mm-hmm.
got a call from TCS. Hey, would you like to train our TCS new hires? That's how I started my corporate journey. So 3 to 4 years I worked at, and I got an opportunity to work with Infosys in Mysore, the biggest campus. They have global education center. There I worked almost 7 years, enabling Infosys new hires on the Microsoft tech. Then to take care of my parents, as you mentioned, I have to come back to Hyderabad, and then I changed my job to Accenture in Hyderabad. And when I'm working in Accenture in Hyderabad, every day I used to look at the Microsoft campus opposite to that building. Yeah, I should be here because if you look my profile throughout my career, right from 2002 till now, I've been enabling people on the Microsoft tech.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, I was telling people how to use the tech, but now for the last 3 years, when I joined Microsoft, I'm telling
Okay.
people how to make that stuff, how to produce Microsoft products.
I think you come
So
from a teaching background, and you are actually replicating that towards what you're doing right now, right? And educating people, and I think that
yes.
that is something beyond imagination when we speak about translating the knowledge to making some impact in the society as a whole. So from SD to someone at a high impact role, that is learning architect role, what would you say? Is a teaching background very necessary, or what would be a simplest roadmap if someone wants to join this field?
Definitely, definitely. Any engineer in any organization in this world, they can easily join the learning teams if there are openings in their organizations or outside organization they look for, they can apply. But the skill required to sustain in this particular domain is not just tech. So you should have a passion to enable others by teaching and learn by doing. You won't find
Hmm.
any ready-made lab manuals or guides in this learning domain. Basically, you have to create your own runway and run on top of that and enable others. If you have that passion, if you find an opening, there is no barrier. Like, you are not eligible to apply for learning domain. Any engineer, any company, they can apply for any learning role as long as they have the passion. But when it comes to what is the second part of your question about the teaching background? Is it
Hmm.
mandatory? Definitely, in my personal opinion, teaching background is not mandatory, but it will add that particular kind of, if at all they come from
Edge.
teaching background, they know better the student psychology, we say, and the managing the class. Some engineers have, in fact, they may be super fantastic. They have patents and they're super creators, but when it comes to handling a class of 100 or 200, they won't be able to do in their initial classes. So if you come
Hmm.
from the teaching background, these two are added advantage: class management and psychology.
I
Otherwise,
completely get it.
open.
Being myself in the same profession, I think, of teaching, I completely get your point when you say that to manage a classroom of 100 to 150 students is not a matter of, non-seriousness. It's not, definitely. And you teach generative AI, right? And GitHub Copilot. So what do you think? Like, what skill has Copilot made completely obsolete, like backdated? I can say this skill has completely gone out of, it is no more can be considered. And what new skill is non-negotiable for developers today?
Definitely, there are two parts in your question. When it comes to obsolete, I don't think Copilot has replaced any of the human skill. So human
Okay.
has certain skills like organic skills. The Copilot is not replacing; it's just enhancing the human skills by improving their productivity. Probably it is speeding up the way you learn, the way you implement.
Hmm.
The Copilot is just a tool. It series back we use some kind of metal tools to make our efforts, simpler and to improve our productivity. And decades back we used computers, calculators, they never
Hmm.
replaced human skill. They always enhance the human skills. Likewise, today's the latest tool is Copilot. Use
Hmm.
it to enhance your skill and improve your productivity. It's not going to replace any human skill. But if I have to tell some aspirants, some learners, some students, the routine jobs, repetitive task, random allocation,
Mundane
look
task.
at a query, yeah, sorry, these kind of things, these kind of routine, repetitive things people have automated, and because we don't want to spend time there, rather we would like to spend time on some other new innovative things, or maybe that makes our life much happier. This is the first part to joy. Coming to the
Completely.
second part, I remember asking about what are the skills, right? What are the skills one should
Hmm.
know to sustain or to become better in this AI? I'll tell
Non-negotiable.
you, non-negotiable. Very good. So AI you can use only as an assistant that can generate code for you, but you should be very good in articulating what you want. The
Hmm.
AI behaves based on your ask. If you're not good in asking, articulating clearly, you
The
will get
output
an
would be different.
unexpected output. So that articulation skills are very much required. And once it produces code or output, you should have a very critical review skills. Like when it produces, you should able to understand it. You should
Hmm.
able to review it with a criticality. Blindly don't trust. Oh, this is super intelligent, created by that great company and copy paste. Never do that. It's just an
Hmm.
assistant to you. So it did work for you. Please review. Articulate first. Ask the copilot get the work done. Then review. These two are primary essential things. Plus, if you are looking to join these great organizations or anywhere you want to excel, you should have that systems thinking. I watched some of your podcasts where you're speaking about that. So every engineer should have that holistic systems thinking. What is the impact if I change this menu from left to right? So what it cost? And the one more fourth dimension lad is product building. So if you join a
Hmm.
product company, as long as you work for the services company, it is okay if you write some solution and deploy it, fine. But if you're working for any product company in this world,
Hmm.
the product building mindset is slightly different from systems thinking. Systems thinking, you can be an engineer, you can
Hmm.
code, you can release, but is it going to sustain in the market? Is it user friendly? Is it usable? Does it has a value? Is it going to sustain after 10 years? Those mindset, those leadership and management aspects are part of the product building. These are the four non-negotiable skills in the AI world: articulation, critical review of the output, systems thinking, and product building mindset.
I think these are fantastic pointers that you have mentioned as a key takeaway they can definitely take from this video. And what do you think? What is the most misunderstood skill by aspiring tech professionals that consistently holds them back from joining such companies like Microsoft?
Yeah, people think that, if I just know how to code, if I can crack, if I may take the names, the data structures, algorithms, I see a lot of people, learning a lot, investing on those learnings, joining forums and whatnot. I don't want to name some platforms, but the coding platforms, they
Hmm,
feel like, I can do this, I can crack. But when you come to these product companies like Microsoft, what we look for is not just the output of that particular code. Even we
hmm.
may allow you to use copilots in code generation, but how good you are in interpreting that. Especially again, I repeat the systems thinking. I have to say that, when someone comes, you should able to see the impact of the change in dependent systems, overall end-to-end picture, not just that ask this output and I got an output. Bubble sort, this is the output of bubble sort. No, how optimal it is. Is there anything optimization you've done? So how reusable it is. Those kind of, engineering essentials is what matters, Joy.
I think
I say.
that is the whole, that is the whole crux of this. If that is not implemented properly, it should be properly understood by someone if they are working tomorrow on this, right? And if
Yes.
what you mentioned is completely making sense for all who are watching this video. So just help me understand, will it completely will because this is the future of technical learning, shifting completely from formal courses to AI assisted courses and the personalized training towards personalized training. Will it replace the formal kind of traditional education or classroom training?
Yeah, the first one is yes, we are shifting. So the entire world, when I say we, many organizations started, we're shifting to this AI assisted. Also, you also use a word. It's not like AI first or AI driven. I like the word AI assisted. The learning is going to be AI assisted.
Uh-huh.
So what it is assisting is important. The AI assistance is in the same former learning methodologies. Tomorrow, I would like to enable a fresh engineer. So previous companies like Infosys, Accenture, like they run like several days of onboarding trainings. Even at product companies, we run at least 10 days, 15 days of, onboarding training for the new hires. And those formal trainings will be in the same formal structure that we've been following for decades. There's a module objective, there's a question, there's a discussion, there's assessment, these things will be there. AI is going to assist and again enhance. And it's going to speed up. And you're also asking about replacement. Did I hear you? Like, is it
Yes,
replacing
yes,
thing? Yeah,
that's correct.
the second part. Yeah, that is no. The first part, it is an assistant. Yes, the entire after another 5 or 10 years, you're going to see every organization. There won't be any learning program without AI. AI will be there everywhere. But is it replacing the classroom? No. In my personal opinion, AI will never replace the classroom training, because in the classroom training, you not only get the tech,
Mm.
you get the knowledge and the depth of the other individuals. So then you have to
Okay.
imagine, where are you learning? When you go to the classroom, you see your peers, right? The amount of learning you'll get from your peers and the meeting the people, no AI is going to replace that. The background, their you not only tech background, their families, their culture, their values, their characteristics, that you'll never get if you just sit in a virtual cohort.
Okay.
That's going to be there.
So today we talk about coding, right? And everyone is talking
Mhm.
about that since a few years now. Now, beyond basic coding, how important is safe deployment practices for in a fresher's resume today, and where should they focus more, or where should they focus their learning towards?
Definitely, like these freshers, to be frank, they don't have to worry much about these deployment practices. But if at all they can add, that will be, if at all they can learn, that will be added advantage. If there are
Hmm,
12 members whom I am reviewing, out of two people, if I know that they are aware about the deployment practices,
hmm.
definitely they'll get an advantage. And especially these people with the experience of these deployment practices, rather let me broaden that word. Instead of using deployments, let's call pipelines. So
Okay.
it includes for the build as well as for the release. So if a new person, if a fresher or new person, much before joining any job, if you they become familiar with these pipelines, they're going to have added advantage in the interviews. Plus, when they join, also their overall productivity, the way they produce the products within the organization, the way they commit their code will be much faster. So I think people can also learn Joy. It's not difficult. If they want to learn these pipelines, they can just go
Hmm.
to Azure DevOps, they can go to GitHub Actions, they can set up a sample project. There are a lot of online tutorials, including MS Learn. I
I think
strongly
there is
recommend
more
every.
in open source, right? In today's world, everything education is
Yeah,
so vast and the scope is so high to learn from everywhere.
yes, yes, yes. And it's not at all difficult. I strongly recommend your subscribers and the viewers here. If you know any cloud, try to learn working with pipelines. whether it is
Okay.
Amazon or Google or Azure. Learn build pipelines and release pipelines in the simplest Hello World, simple basic programs also, that get familiar with the end-to-end cycle of building and releasing, so that in the interview you'll have an edge. And when you join an organization, if someone is not aware, they may take 2 weeks to complete their first PR, and you may do it in the second day. You
Understood
pull
completely.
request.
So, what is the
Yeah.
realistic salary for a senior technical role like yours in big tech actually, and what skill add the highest premium to that compensation? If
Okay, this is some sensitive question. I cannot reveal the exact numbers,
mm,
but what I can tell you, yeah, I've seen
uh-huh,
similar questions somewhere else. And what I can tell you, so if you go to any of these websites that's going to publish the salaries, like 95% to 98%, they're accurate. People disclosing salaries anonymously. I was also curious. I have seen, and they're accurate. But
compensation.
yeah, this is very important, especially for the new freshers as well as even experienced. Any person who has like 10 years or 15 years experience, you want to join any product company, not only just Microsoft, I would like to let you know about these top skills. One is, that AI today. So it is must,
Mm,
every interview you want to check for the AI first.
mm,
After AI, then quality. What are you making? Is it of good quality? That most
okay.
important. When I say quality, basic, you start from the testing mechanisms. Like you should know thoroughly how to test, how to verify. And so of the security, the three things, like your artificial intelligence knowledge, as well as the quality awareness, how to produce quality products, and the security, how security breaches are happening. Every engineer, it's not like some security engineer will come and add security to my product. No? You should know the security aspects, all the security foundations, including the encryption, information security, latest protocols, complaints, anything. You should have very good awareness about the security. So as of now, I can think of these three are the premium
Completely.
skills.
So, is master's degree or advanced certification still the best investment for a beginner seeking this high-paying roles today, or has the industry fundamentally shifted?
Yeah, my observation, I did not speak to any of the HRs or the finance teams, but my observation, to interact with a couple of members, I noticed when they join as a new hire, especially a fresher from a BTech
Mm-hmm.
or MTech, so their salary was almost same, less than 5% difference, or almost same, I can say. And so you can say that, it doesn't matter much today how you work, how you produce your output, how you actually contribute to the product development. These things matters. But one
Mm,
aspect to join, if at all you would like to work in a research area, if you join a product company like Microsoft, also we do have Microsoft Research.
mm-hmm.
Likewise, any company will have their own research wing. If you want to go to research, definitely your masters will add, because you will focus more on those nitty gritties, algorithms, and formal studies and further specializations. You can't do specialization academically without MTech. You are go on the research. You want to go for specializations, please do MTech. But if you just want to start working, you can become CEO also, I can say. So just by working. Yeah.
Okay, understood. So, what is the minimum cloud competency example in Azure that every aspiring engineer who is watching this should or must have, regardless of where they are aiming for a full stack or maybe specialized role?
So that full stack specialized nodes can be secondary, as you said. The foundation is every student, when you are in the second, third year itself, you should start getting the good foundation in the cloud. To
Mm-hmm.
start with, the first thing on the cloud is how this virtualization works. How are these service providers are making money? Amazon, Microsoft, Google. What is that
Mm-hmm.
magic, the trick they are using? How things are working so fantastic, how data. So that the whole thing is on virtualization. Just remember this, and we can have a separate discussion on that, how this virtualization works. If you understand clearly the whole science of this virtualization, you excel in making very optimal cloud services when you come back to product companies.
Understood.
Once you take, for example, in case of Azure, you take any free subscription or student subscription, or
Mm-hmm.
ask your college or whoever is sponsoring you. Once you have the subscription, start
Mm-hmm.
deploying the services. Don't just create resources and look at them. Make something go live. The Azure allows you
Mm-hmm.
to deploy the app services with a public URL. So just learn. It's called app service, Azure App Service. You
Mm-hmm.
try to create Azure App Service and create your own website in editors like Visual Studio or Code Editor, and take that and deploy. You will learn steps easily in the MS Learn, as well as a Copilot will tell you. Once you deploy, probably because
Mm-hmm.
you asked previous questions about the pipelines,
Safe deployment
why
protocol.
don't you can also try and create pipelines from your Azure DevOps. There are two
Okay.
things. Azure, go to Azure, create app service, create your website, deploy there. Gone. It's gone live.
Okay.
Now you want to make changes. So you need to set up a repository that's in Azure DevOps. You set up a repository. From there, you can create pipelines that directly send code directly to your. I think some people heard about CI/CD, continuous integration,
Mhm.
continuous deployment. So they can set up this Azure DevOps repos to Azure Live Instance. These two
Okay.
things I suggest. Enjoy.
So we all use AI for coding now, right? But if you are interviewing a candidate, what is one question or task you would like to determine if they are using Copilot correctly as an assistant maybe versus, relying on it as a just as a crutch?
So definitely people should use Copilot Assistant. And if at all, if I'm interviewing that, I will not ask them to write any code or hey, go to Copilot and get this code kind of thing. Probably I will give them a code. Okay. Hey, take
Okay.
this code. And maybe I initially I may put a bug or I may give some
Mm-hmm.
broken code. It's partially, no, it's partial code, something like that. I'll give them. I may not tell them. Now look at
Mm-hmm.
it, review it, take the help of Copilot as
Okay.
your assistant and
Okay.
fix that, probably generate test cases, and then you verify and tell me how good quality it is. So this is
Okay.
going to see their holistic skills, not just syntax or I know some connectivity or CRUD operations. Now they're able to find the bug. Of course, they can take Copilot assistance, but as a human, you have to decide what Copilot is saying or not. So once they identify the
Mm-hmm.
bug and fix and test, these things I look especially than just generation stuff, Joy.
I think that is most important for someone to validate even just going randomly, I think. And as an experience, you would be better in a position to even, understand and determine what capacity he can or she can execute when you are interviewing such a candidate. I think someone who is watching this video can definitely learn from your episode. But if, let's say, a student only has $100 to spend on cloud learning and what
Uh-huh.
specific Azure service or, fundamental project should they invest that money to get the most valuable skill or knowledge that their resume would be worthy and you know resume worthy experience to count in.
When you say $100, is it only for the subscriptions or you're speaking overall learning?
You can say it
Roughly.
as a overall learning.
Definitely, in the context of clouds, you name it GCP or AWS or on Azure, you need subscription. So you can invest some amount, 20 to 30% of that amount on your subscriptions, buy the
Mhm,
basic subscription or take student subscription or free subscriptions. Once you get
mm,
that, you start creating hands-on. You start creating hands-on. And as I said in my previous question, you deploy the live site. It's not at all challenging. Just say, how can I deploy Azure website live? You do, and again, you try to set up your repositories either in the GitHub or the Azure DevOps. Try to connect these two using your pipelines. Try to do this realistic website, and also contribute. Please,
mm,
these product companies. When I joined, also even I've been asked. Now I'm a teaching background. I've been asked those questions. You try to contribute to open source projects, and you should have your name recorded in the open source contributor. That shows your mindset, that kind of broad mindset that you're contributing to the community and you're learning as part of that community, not just your
mm,
own project. Yeah, I have this great calculator project on Azure DevOps. This is my
mm,
repository. These are my pipelines. That is fantastic. But what is your contribution to the open source? Like how we look at the people
mm.
who are contributing to the society. That way, if you contribute to the open source, it will have extra edge, extra value your profile as well. I think we should do that. That's how we
Yeah,
grow
yeah,
community.
that's completely a win-win
Mhm.
situation. You get a learning out of your teaching, I think, and
Yes,
someone
yes.
also
Yeah.
gets the learning, and that's what makes a human to teach others, right?
So if you're not started, those are listening, please start contributing to open source and put that in your profile.
Yes, I think that's also an added advantage when you do it. And what could be contributing towards I think that's a social contribution as well. And that's actually important for everyone to do. So I
Mm.
think that's something a key takeaway from this episode as well. So one last piece of advice, Sri, when you talk to everyone who are watching this video, one last piece of advice, they want to join in the big tech company that is Microsoft. What would be your advice?
So one thing is like if they don't have campus placements, it will be very tough these days. You have to
Okay.
keep watching the careers page. Okay. Go to the careers page and create alerts. In the careers page, you can create alerts. You can create alert, when there's an opening in this city with this so and so discipline, data engineer or databases or data science, like that. You create alerts and you'll get alerts and try to reach out to people in LinkedIn and other circles. You can ask for the referrals, including me. I don't hesitate. You can come to me directly or through Joy reference,
Sure,
So if you
I'll
find any
definitely put it.
openings, you can do that. And yeah, my profile in LinkedIn. If you find any
Sure, I'll,
openings, any
I'll
of
add
my
it in the
team,
description.
yeah, Any of my previous companies also. Just let me know. I have good friends there. So this
I think
referral
she would
networking
be.
some yeah, this networking is important. Like we're all humans now, so you don't have to worry a lot. You learn something and start establishing and start enhancing your network and circle and circle and circle. Just go on like how people send Facebook requests like that. Try to create your enhance your circle in LinkedIn, and that's going to get you opportunities.
I think that's a community already built, and if you can network with people,
Yes.
that one thing that you can definitely polish when it comes to networking skill, and try to send your resume with good projects in them. And yeah, Srinivas is there to help you all who are watching this video and trying to make your career a big thing in the future. So definitely you need to give it a try. I'll definitely add Srinivas LinkedIn, and you can reach out to him. But at the last thing, very thank you, Srinivas, for joining in this session. It was a complete pleasure to talk to you, and I could actually relate to you when you were speaking about teaching everything that makes and everything possible when where you are today from where you came. So it's completely a journey worth sharing. And thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. And same joy, same. So nice talking to you and your causes, the way you are helping people. And I like your channel title, Joy. All for success. Joy is what like success and with joy. Success is not with some great sorrow or challenges or oh my god, I did so many struggles. Right? Get
Definitely.
success and be joyful.
I think all about success is actually counting more when it has all people like you, like minded, and who are building the community strongest. What word I am falling short of such words, but it definitely makes a grand success when people like you join this episodes.
Definitely. Anytime, any further help you need from my side beyond speaking, so let me know.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Shri. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you. You too. Bye.